I'm live.
Yeah.
Tim Arrowood, People's Home Equity. Sorry you're not here. So, speaking of not here, where's Matt?
He's at an appointment.
He's at an appointment.
He's sorry that he can't.
No, he's
He's just sorry. That's right. So, all right. Well, I would like to start off with some. What do you guys see? What are challenges that you guys are seeing these days? Callie, what is your challenges? Any challenges?
People not listening.
People not listening? What did you say? I'm sorry. I had to say that. People not listening. Clients not listening to you when you have their advice. Okay. How about
And
you?
then they make the mistake
That you told them.
when I told them not to, and then they're like, okay, I'll listen now. I'm like, okay, well, that was a pretty expensive mistake.
What are your challenges? What are you seeing?
Probably trying to work out resale contingencies or lining up listing and buying the next one. People you have to list before you can offer
Got it.
then that was.
Interesting. Okay. How about you, Dustin? I've been waiting on you. You got nothing to say today?
You typically need to have business to be able to ask questions. What are rates right now?
You know, that's not part of the conversation right now.
No, it's not part of the conversation.
Probably about 7.5.
That's not good.
7.5. High sixes, mid sevens. So,
We're gonna need you to get those back down to about 5, you know?
how about- is that what's keeping you from doing your business? Is that what you're saying?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely.
It's all about rates.
All that
How about you, Joey? What are some challenges? You're the guy everybody comes to when they got problems.
Yeah.
So,
I think some of what I've heard is, well, like Callie, you educate your buyer and seller and they still don't want to listen. They think, well, especially sellers, they think we're still on the previous
right,
market.
Yeah.
And then I've heard some lenders ordering stuff without asking the buyer.
Oh, my goodness.
And then they're changing lenders and they're sending bills for these
Uh,
appraisals, foundation
got it.
inspections, not getting prior approval.
yeah. Okay. I could see that being a problem. So, but they're not moving to me. So why aren't they moving to me? So how about you all? Any challenges? What are your challenges?
I think there's picky buyers because the interest rates are so high. So the ones that are needing a loan to buy, they're definitely picking what they choose. Then, like taking their time, being very picky about their choice. And then sellers, I think right now, to me, what I'm saying is homes that have been overpriced. That's something like again, like sellers not listening. Hey, we should price it this way because the market's like this. You can't price your home, on the higher side right now because buyers are being picky because interest rates are so high. I think that's a hard conversation. It's not hard, but it's just hard to get them to understand that the market is ever changing and it does it quickly, and sometimes it does it slowly. But so they're being picky. So then your home is going to sit longer if it's priced higher, and then you're going to get mad because you're not going to get what you thought you were going to get. And instead of actually listening to, hey, let's price it right, so that
And I guess once it sits, then it becomes damaged goods. People think, what's wrong?
Yeah, I can bars do that all the time.
How about you, Mama?
I see a mixture of numbers there because people, sellers are trying to price it as high as they were last year, so they knew they would just get much higher.
Right.
And so they're pricing their house high, but then they want to be looking at houses because as soon as they get a contract on their house, they want to buy it. But the houses they want to buy are the cheaper ones, and then they can't get their house to be the best ones they price it at. And they're not okay to price.
Interesting. Was there anything, thinking about is there anything that a lender could do in those situations? I don't know that there is, but I mean, from it might, well, my topic is about, how to get people that are sitting on a lower rate. If you're selling and you've got a 3% rate, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
I call it golden handcuffs. It's like, well, I bought the same house today. I'm going to pay so much more for it. So maybe we'll cover that. So any bright spots in the market? Anything that's like, well, it's finally has changed or anything good?
I still think we're getting a lot of out-of-state buyers, and that's the cash buyers that you're seeing. So there's still, plenty of those that are coming in, but again, they're going to be picky and choosy because they don't want something that's overpriced.
Right. Yeah. Interesting. So we had planned for Ryan Shoemake from America's Home Place to come. Actually, the first plan was for us to go there have this there. And then we were gonna have him come here, and then there was a conflict, so anyway, what's that?
I said it missed you, a hot menace.
I didn't say that. I didn't say that. So the food's great, and we're here together, so it's all good. But I just wanted to say, if you haven't, we're still gonna have may not be specifically for you all, but we're gonna have some sort of a lunch and learn there at their office sometime in next month, maybe?
I haven't found, I'm not gonna say anything.
Yeah. Okay.
You have burned bridges.
Well, I think he's got a baby that's due in October, so he's a little iffy in scheduling anything, so I'm trying to put the ball in his court. I'd like to bring him up, to bring you guys in for our next lunch and learn. That was something that you guys would be interested in doing, but, either that or we'll do like an all-inclusive kind of thing where we can just bring a bunch of people over. But
It was, so what was interesting is we're doing, one-time closed construction ones now. So Misty, Misty is the construction queen right now. So we're talking.
I want you to call me and talk to.
Well, the queen of the double wide trailer? That's what it was. But this is, I think there's a song about that. But, so we're doing one-time closed construction. So one of the things that this is doing is targeting double wide manufacturers, dealers, and also builders. And so we had gotten actually a referral from some friends at Eastman. They do a lot with America's Home Place, and I've driven by them. You know, you go out to eat at Outback. It's right there next to it. And I thought, this seems like a hokey little place. I don't know what made me think, but Misty and I met with the manager there. They have a beautiful showroom, and they have got a neat program. And so that's the reason we thought it would be worth you guys, because we're all struggling with inventory. So if you've got somebody in your hip pocket, I brought one guy in to talk about construction, and they weren't really, they had like 3 plans, and they might do it on your land, those kind of things. But these guys will do a custom on your land. And so they're, anyway, I'm impressed with what they do. So I think it's worth, even if, without, stop in sometime, go in the showroom and see what they do. So some neat stuff. But let's see, custom build on your lot, and they'll take care of your commissions as well, so they'll protect you. What was interesting is that, you're talking about people moving in from out of state. That's the majority of their business. People are looking they bought some land, they want to build, and they don't know any builders. What my perception of the way you described it, they don't know any builders, and so these guys are a known quantity. They're they're part of a larger organization. They build in like 6 or 7 different states, and so they look at them as somebody they can trust. It's not the cheap build, it's not the most expensive build, but it's a good, comfortable dollars per square foot and quality and things like that. So the majority of their people are people coming in from out of state. So I think he was interested in us because they don't have a lot of inroads with agents to be able to drive business to them as well. So I think it would be well worth that. So rates. Somebody asked about rates. So actually, to our left, I checked and I kind of used Rocket Mortgage as a litmus test of just kind of where people are. And so today on their website, it's 7.5 with 1.875 points for a 30-year fixed conventional. So we're going to be less than that, but still, I'll use that a lot of times when I'll quote somebody a price, or I'll disclose and I'll say, well, we're here. Now Rocket's up here, but we're here. So they're like, okay, because they're a known quantity and it's a place that they know that they're getting a good deal. So let's see, and we're not really expecting a significant drop the rest of this year. So it was promised, it was coming, it's coming after this date. Rates are going to start to move down, and I've said that all year, and so I got egg on my face. But it is what it is. We're looking at the fourth quarter. We're looking at inflation is going to continue to drop, which is good. But the Fed is they're looking for a terrible job number is what they're looking for before I think they're going to do anything. So they want to push us into a recession so that they can fix it. So banks are tightening up on some credit. We're seeing more loan officers get out of business. I think the last number I saw was we're down 50% from where we were 18 months ago. Wow. So half the LOs have gotten out of the business. I talked to a mutual friend had a dinner Monday night, and there was an LO there that it was him and one other person in their office. between the two of them, they've closed 8 loans this year. Like, that's tough. That's tough. So, and they're asking me like, so what do you do? It's like, well, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I mean, you can't just tell them at a dinner party how you fix their business, but I don't know what they're doing, just sitting around waiting on stuff to fall into the lap, I guess, I don't know. So, but I would expect there's, like there is in the economy, a lot of folks had built up some cash, and now they're starting to run out of that cash. So I think loan officers and others, real estate agents as well, they're gonna get to the point where I've held out, and I've held out, and I've held out, and I gotta go do something else, because I'm at the end of what I can afford to do. So I'm expecting more LOs to get out of the business, and honestly, hopefully more real estate agents to get out of the business. So except for the good ones, the new ones that are getting, they're gonna be fine. So what I wanted to talk about today was how we might be able to help with people that have houses to sell. So the statistic that's interesting is U.S. homeowners have about $249,000 in equity. The average American homeowner has $249,000 in equity in their house. So they're sitting a lot of equity, and that would mean that they have about $199,000, $200,000 that they could actually cash out. If they did a cash out refinance, they could take that much money out. So you got that on one side. You've got the fact that the average American citizen has about $90,000 worth of consumer debt, right? So they're sitting on, so you get this comment. I got a lot of equity, but I've got a lot of debt that I've picked up. And so I looked at some charts. Actually, I was watching the webinar this morning, and it was showing how the cash was going down, and then the debt was going up, and where we are, and we're maxing out a lot of different things. And they're going to be. It's one of the things that's happening with the economy. It hasn't slowed like they thought it would, because people have had savings, and then they paid down all their debt, and now they've gotten back into it. And so there's a point where people continue to go on vacations and spend money, and they don't really have it. It's not coming in, but I've got a little extra. I'm going to go ahead and do that. So, so that's the kind of the state of the nation there. But what does that mean for us, for sellers or for realtors? The thought is that when we talked about the golden handcuff. So if you've got somebody that's thinking about selling, and they're like, well, I don't know whether I should sell and go into something else. If they don't have any debt, then that's tough, right? They don't have any consumer debt. But if they've got consumer debt, then yes, they're sitting on a 3% rate, but their blended rate, like if you look at somebody's got $40,000 worth of credit cards, those credit card rates are 22 to 25%, and then they got an interest rate on the house of 3%. Well, the blended rate's probably around 6. Mm-hmm. So for them to be able to sell, pay off the debt, buy something else, yes, their payment's going to be more than their current payment, but their overall payment is going to be less. Then all they have is the house debt. So those are some things that we're seeing, and what we're seeing, how that's helping us is when it comes to, we've got more refinances going on right now than I thought we would have. I think we have 2 or 3 going on right now. Some of them were a result of divorces, some are a result of different things. But in the last month we closed 2. One was they ended up saving. They went from like a 4% rate to a high 6 rate. They ended up saving $850 a month because they had all this other debt. So they just wrapped all of it up. Their house payment's higher, but their overall payments were much less. So they were able to refinance, cash out, and pay off all of the debt. And so they're saving $850 a month. Now they can take that extra $850 and they can put it towards extra towards principal in terms of house payment into a 15-year loan if they want to, or a 12-year loan if they wanted to. For them, they wanted some relief because of the kids and doing some other things. The other one was got a heat pump on it, kind of like what you guys have just happened today, what it feels like. So he's like, how am I going to get the money out to fix this? And so we did a cash out, paid off all his debt, got him some money so to pay for the heat pump. He's still saving about $450 a month in his payments, and he's got a cool mom ain't happy, no one happy. You know, so, and the kids are happy. Yes, ma'am.
When you do a refi, do you get an appraisal done too?
Typically, yeah, for what, a home equity line of credit, maybe not, depends.
Okay.
So what we're talking about is a full refinance cash out.
Okay,
So-
so say you have a buyer who wants to do a home equity loan to get cash, to pay cash for another house.
Yeah.
You don't need an appraisal for that.
It depends. Usually what happens, and we don't do home equity loans, but I send a lot of people to local banks to get home equity loans. So the first thing is usually a home equity loan, they don't want your house to currently be listed to do a home equity loan. Because we're, that's the first thing. Then the second thing is gonna be, it depends, like if you don't owe anything on the house, let's say it's worth $500,000, and you only need 300 out, that's a pretty easy one where they probably wouldn't require an appraisal. But if you said, hey, I'm gonna go up to 90% of the value, then they're probably gonna wanna see an appraisal.
Okay.
But I tend, especially if people are gonna be, if they're gonna be buying a house, who was it? Somebody. I might have been. I don't know, somebody here maybe. Anyway, they've got a house in Texas that they're gonna sell. And, you know.
Was that my sister?
No, it was somebody, it might have been one of you. Anyway, this fellow owns a house free and clear, owns a ranch free and clear. He's got $1 million worth of investment property. No, it's Alexa, that's what it is. And you're only gonna be short-term money. Now, on the selfish side, if I do a loan for you and you pay it off in less than 6 months, then they claw back all my commission. So there's a disincentive for me to let's do that loan, and then, you know, and this guy, I talked to him, I said, so I described the situation, I said, would you be willing to make those 7 payments? He said, no. Like, okay, well, I think you need to do one like that. Because it was going to be cheaper for him and better once I found out he had a lot of assets.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
But the difference would be, like, sometimes people need to do a home equity line and keep the rate that they got, which is perfectly fine. But sometimes, you know, that may not be the best thing. So that's what we usually do. I did a mailing to my past client database and asked, you know, just do you know of anybody? So we got a bunch of, well, let's see. You will? Sure you will. So, and I've because so many people have been frustrated with Eastman, I've gotten a couple of ladies, Misty's got a couple of ladies at ACSCU that we've been sending them to do home equity line of credit. So, time to read. All right. So, let's see. So blended rate. So if you've got what I was thinking is if you've got somebody that's on the fence about listing their home, buying a home, then it might be worth having a conversation with them to just look at the finances and say, well, how could we? Yes, I realize that you're setting on a 3% rate, but, you know, and if they don't have any debts, then it's a hard sell because, yeah, they are truly trading a low rate for a higher rate. But if they do have a lot of consumer debt, and a lot of people do, then it might be worth having a conversation. So, but I would imagine, as I thought about this morning, I was thinking, well, most of the people that you're talking to have reached out to you all to talk about selling. They probably already, you don't have necessarily an opportunity to, you're not knocking on somebody's door and saying, hey, why don't you sell? Like, well, you know, then you're going to have that conversation. It's more of, we were thinking about selling. Yes, this is what we're thinking about selling, but we're not sure. So that might be the ability to flip somebody and say, well, here's some reasons why you might consider it. So let's see. And then the other things, you know, some of the things I'm hearing is that we're just going to wait for rates to come down. And you guys, you get a lot of coaching, so I'm sure you all are already having this conversation. But you know, I would say true rates are probably going to be lower in 6 to 12 months. You know, probably a point in 6 to 12 months, something like that. But you know, you're going to be refinancing probably in 12 to 24 months anyway. So the money that you borrow, you're probably going to be refinancing anyway. And then if you wait to buy in 6 months, then you've got generally appreciation that's going to happen. That's 2 to 3%. If you're looking at 5% appreciation for 12 months, then 2 to 3% for over 6 months. So $200,000 place has gone up, a little bit of money there. And the cost, if you looked at, the difference in what your payment would be at a 7 rate or a 6 rate, times 12. So, maybe you got $3,000 or $4,000 that would be the difference. So the problem is when rates drop, then property values is probably gonna go up. And that house that you wanted for 300 is now 350. So yeah, I saved, a year's worth of higher interest, but now I'm paying more for the house. So there may be some things that, that you can use to help people make that decision. Move on to that. So the prices are gonna go higher, once rates come down.
Yeah, we're gonna be in the same system,
Okay.
and
Yeah, so,
it's just gonna revolve, or a revolving door.
yeah.
Because if everyone's waiting for the low interest
Yeah,
rate,
exactly.
we're gonna see that happen again, and then they're gonna have to do an appraisal gap, and they're gonna have to get over, and it's gonna be multiple offers,
Yeah.
because everybody's gonna be there with low inventory.
Yeah. So if you buy now, at least you know
I'm
what
real
you got.
excited for that, Kelly.
Pardon?
Said you sound real excited for that to happen.
Well, and that's one of the reasons that we were investing in construction, because we can't control inventory, but if we have relationships with builders, and there's a lot of folks. The more we learn about manufactured homes, like they're telling me, well, yeah, we probably couldn't do anything for less than $190 for a land home package. They probably are our least expensive house.
190?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so I'm thinking, I'm still thinking maybe 10 years ago where you get a double wide for 99, land home package for 100, so I had somebody that was pre-qualified, they were referred to us, and they were qualified for 140, and they got, and the deal was like, yeah, I got nothing. My cheapest place by itself is probably 115, and that's the more traditional double wide, no sheetrock, the stuff that you used to, when I think of double wide. And so he's like, yeah, we need to be about 190. I'm like, okay. So now what do we do with this guy, right? And but we're seeing stuff that's a lot of folks that are well qualified. That's what they tell me. It's like you think that these people coming in and getting a double wide are going to be your marginal buyers and borrowers. They're well qualified conventional buyers, but
Wow.
50% down, pay cash sometimes. But if you think, so that's going to put you in the $300,000 to $400,000 range for double wide on 5 acres, right? That's what everybody wants, right? And so it's like, okay, so we're trying to think ahead in that market, and then builders as well. We can do custom, we can do custom one-time close, but that's talking to some of the like the America's Home Place seemed to be a neat fit. They've got a set number of designs that they do, but you can modify any of them. And I even saw it was a very simple, like just a box, right? And so their construction, I think they're somewhere between 175 and 225 square foot. So if you're looking at, this is what I remember seeing was a very simple. It's probably 950 square feet. But if you've got
I'm not sure, just to interject a little bit there, I'm not sure, well, yeah, I do have an offense here too, that they're having a construction open house, if you guys are interested in seeing one of those. That's Saturday, September 16th. I've got down here from 10 to 1. Oh. I was like, what are you giving me? I thought it was chocolate. I'm more excited about chocolate.
she just swallows the microphone. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
I've got down here from 10 to 1. I can give you the address if you like, but it's one of their properties that they're working on. So it'll be, if you're curious, like what this is like, I think it's
Construction
and
quality.
if they'll let me, I'm going to be hanging out up there too. So yeah, I'll send you guys an invite to that. It is 2500 Siam Road in Elizabethton.
So on Siam, I wouldn't expect it's going to be a 3,700 square foot mansion on Siam, but still, it's a nice. So that is all I've got. I think I dropped off some of these before, but I'm going to put. If you guys have any packages for buyers, fire packages, and leave some of these things for you. And, I don't know, any questions? Dustin?
Nothing for me, sir.
Nothing from you?
I
All
have a
right.
question.
Yes.
Whose birthday is it today?
I don't know, whose birthday is it today? Happy birthday! Well, it happens to be my birthday today.
Happy birthday to you.
Happy
birthday, dear
Happy
birthday to you.
Happy birthday, Tim.
Yeah, the one day Karen doesn't have a cookie
I know, the only thing here.
day. The only day Karen doesn't have a cookie day.
Questions.
That's all right. Double nickels. Double nickels today. Old Scotty building. 55 today.
No, it's
Hard to believe.